Welcome to another Quantum Conversation. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Welcome to another episode of our Quantum Conversation Summit Series, Timelines, Creating the Highest Benevolent Outcome. We are back again with Jules Arnes, the creator of beautiful products and actually a quantum researcher on DMT and frequency medicine. I like to call it frequency medicine or intelligence medicine. Today, we're talking about bioperformance. Raise your frequency, activate cell ascension with the particle accelerator. Jules, thank you so much for being here. Welcome back.
Thank you, Loren. And I just want to appreciate you and everything that you're doing. You always bring the most amazing speakers, and I just feel honored to be here today.
Well, we're having you back because the teachings that you offer, the products and the services that you teach are really amazing. And that is, I want to say it's almost an advanced level of understanding. But this level of understanding truly puts us in the driver's seat of what we can do. And I keep hearing you and your comment about your friend Vale, who, when he transitioned at a young age, and he came to you and he said, it's not supposed to be this way. That we can be in this human form and actually overcome many things. And so you took this wisdom into your life and into your teachings and the work and research, and you've actually advanced it into more services. And even better than that, in your own life, you've actually reduced the age of your telomeres. And you're a living example of this beautiful living technology. Let's call it frequency technology. So now we're talking about bioperformance. What's going on here? What is this all about?
Yes, so this has been kind of a passion of mine for, oh gosh, like years. But really what I've done is since Vale came and he gave me an equation for cell ascension and all the way from like what's happening with the mitochondria and how it's converting ATP and what's happening and all these different things. And there was one specific part that he was giving to me. And it was funny because he kept saying the word and I was hearing lactose and I was like, why are you talking about lactose? And it was funny because I could feel his personality start to come in because he was like kind of getting annoyed that I wasn't hearing him right. And finally, I heard that he was saying lactate. And he was showing that when we work out and we start to convert energy from oxygen to hydrogen is when lactate is released into the body, and it holds a very specific frequency that measures very close to the frequency of DMT. And so he was showing how when we're doing that, and if we do it correctly and we do it with intention, that we can actually boost the mitochondria in ATP, which is going to be a huge part of cell ascension when our cells actually shift from form to frequency, and that we have the experience of that and we get to, well, kind of collaborate within that frequency by choosing to do so. So with that, I've really gone into it really deeply, and it opened up just this whole, oh my gosh, I don't even know, this whole quantum field of information of what's possible, which brought me to this course. And we'll talk a little bit more about it, but I'll turn it back over to you because that was kind of a mouthful.
Oh, I absolutely love it. So the lactate and DMT. So how does that correlate or relate? Working out then, and we know that when you work with the DMT frequency, the 369, the 963 frequency, source frequency, that we're going to learn more about, some may already be familiar with that, that so it's equivalent to DMT. Lactate is equivalent to DMT. In what way?
The frequency of it. So what he was showing is some very specific things that we can do. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that you have to work out hard. It's just that you're working out long enough that you're converting from oxygen to hydrogen, because it's in that conversion that we also start to structure water of our body. And it's really quite beautiful what happens on a quantum level when we push our body beyond just our normal activity, because there's an intelligence that starts to happen. And there's also a level of consciousness that it can be connected into. And we can start to experience our quantum body by bypassing the limitations of the mind. And by doing activity while we're in the process of doing it, it's teaching us that that is actually a state of being that we can bring into all aspects of our life once we kind of master moving our consciousness from the physical experience or the programmed body into the quantum body. And there's actually a lot of things that are happening on a cellular level that is raising the frequency of our physical body as we do it. And let's see, where do I kind of want to like hold back, but there's a little bit more that I want to get to, but I have a feeling it's going to come in later.
Okay, wonderful. So raising our frequency then is really the key. And so cell ascension with the particle accelerator. All right. So if are we particle accelerator, talk about what that is. When we raise our frequency, is that our atomic accelerator? What's going on there?
So the particle accelerator is actually a physical product that I developed over a year ago, and I've been kind of studying what it's been doing for this whole entire time. It's also a big part of what took my telomeres from 37 to 19 in 10 months. I was between what I'm teaching in bioperformance and taking this particle accelerator is how I did it. And of course, a lot of the DMT codes and that sort of thing. But it is a quantum particle accelerator that is in a pill form. It has 5 different ingredients that are all working on the different levels of cell ascension. So it's everywhere from boosting NAD and also boosting mitochondria health so that the cells are in a state of mastery so that they can move past mutation and the looping cycles of age and disease, and start to identify in frequency. So I put the scalar technology of the evolution symbol in the pill itself. It's in a pill, like you take it before you work out or in the morning or before you do any sort of focus work is another really great way to take it. And you will feel it. It really does start to raise the frequency of your body and gives you an organic energy because it's starting to hold your body in that quantum field. So I'm super excited to get it out there. The results that people are having has just been a lot of fun and super amazing. And yeah, so here I am. I think you're the first person that I've actually got on and shouted out to the world. So I'm super excited to do that.
I think it's fascinating again because you are guided from higher intelligence to bring this forward, and you get to work and you put these products out there. So the items, this is really scalar technology that you're working with. And as we know, scalar knows where to go and what to do.
Yes.
And you're using DMT scalar frequency. For those who don't know, the DMT scalar frequency is one of the ingredients in this particle accelerator. and then some other ones that just help support our body. So it's beautiful what you've done here. Common things that people know, but you've combined them in such a way. How did you get the download for doing this? Do you want to share that?
Of course. Yeah. So that was a big part of the equation that Bale gave me was like what the NAD is doing in cell ascension and the different things that we can do to support that. And so every ingredient that's in there was part of his equation. And it took me some time before I was ready to really, go and have it created because I wanted to be sure that each ingredient was holding the level of cell ascension that it was in. So as you're taking it, it's actually programmed to release the frequency of that cell ascension, the equation that he gave me in the body as you are continuing to put it into your body. So it's like, it's so much more than just a supplement. It truly is a quantum supplement. And there was a lot of, yeah, just a lot of, I guess, sitting in the frequency and watching what it was doing and testing it out on myself, of course, and making sure that I was able to see the frequencies were unlocking in the way that I was told in the equation. And I finally got to a place where it was, and now here we are.
That's so cool. Thank you. And so for those who might have a question like, well, what is it that I'm taking? I want to just say that it's really it, like you said, it's part of the equation that you were given, and it's common things that are out there. But the
Yes.
DMT scalar frequency of 963 hertz is part of this.
Yeah.
So that, as you mentioned, is support for us. What have you noticed when you're taking this supplement and you're living your everyday life? What are some things that you notice? More clarity, more information, more
Mhm.
wisdom?
All of that. Definitely more energy, more focus. And the way that I like to see it is it's like the energy is very clean. It's very almost like an essence of energy, if you will. And same with the focus. The focus is, I mean, it is multidimensional in that space. And within, of course, performance level, it is boosting the way that the muscles are recovering after a workout, and of course giving the muscle energy and boosting that frequency of DMT so that when the lactate is starting to release, that it's using the lactate to elevate the frequency of the body with the cell ascension. So you don't necessarily have to work out to use the supplement. I have a lot of people out there that are just using it for focus in that flow state. They go into work and they'll take their supplement and they'll stay in that productive flow state for a full 8 hours. And even, if you do it once a day, you don't have to do it twice a day, you do it once a day. And I would say like right around 20 hours is when you probably want to retake it. But of course, part of that time we're sleeping. So we can pretty much go once a day.
Wow, really beautiful. And this is really support
Mhm.
for our vibrational frequency,
Mhm.
right? It's frequency support. And so many people say, oh my gosh, on the ascension process, I've got symptoms and this and that. This is for ascension symptoms. This is actually transcending ascension symptoms, it seems. Wow, that's amazing. Do you
I
want
love
to?
that you said that actually, because that is what probably one of the number one things that I hear is that if the ascension symptoms start to come in, there's almost like a level of consciousness that is connected to a mastery of moving from out of the paradigm of ascension symptoms into a pure state where even the ascension symptom is there to be mastered, and that the body has the ability to show us exactly how to do it. And when we start to raise the frequency of our physical body, and that other technology starts to turn on, the divine molecular technology, or the divine technology that I call it the divine operating system. So we're moving out of the programmed body into our divine operating system, the multidimensional body. And it has an intelligence where we get to start releasing all these old paradigm ways of what it is to ascend. And we start to see that, okay, this isn't that hard. It's not complicated. It's literally just where we're holding consciousness. But if our body is holding a higher frequency, it's a lot easier to tap into that consciousness and have that experience.
Yes, okay, beautiful. And the divine operating system that we're moving into, do people need to know this, or it's happening whether we know it or not? It's happening whether we know it or not, right?
It is. This is just really allowing you to have the experience of it with more consciousness. And talk about timelines is you start to see, just even with aging, for example, the consciousness that starts to get released when we start to tap into our divine operating system is, I mean, every day for me, it just is so exciting because I can't wait to see what it really is. And so I'm going to give you just an example of one of the ones that I was shown. I was in applying my skincare, and I have my particle accelerator there, and I went to go and take it. And as I was taking it, I opened up and I was looking at myself in the mirror, and all of a sudden I realized, ooh, because I'm looking at myself in the mirror, I know that I'm looking through my programming. And so I like pushed my consciousness back, and all of a sudden it went into this like almost this still point. And then I saw what could have happened and what was happening. So in one place, because I was looking at my reflection, I was creating a timeline of what we would call aging. Because I was looking at it and I was identifying in what we would say, oh, maybe that's a wrinkle, or oh, it's this. And I connected into that collective timeline, and it started running. So I saw it and I saw everything that was happening. But then at the same time, I saw, oh, but what is skin really doing when we're connected into the quantum body? And what I saw is that it's actually going this way. It's going up. We're raising in frequency. So then all of a sudden it started to show me, like from infancy up until about 30 years old, we are on a timeline of basically brain development and conscious development. Once we hit that space, our body is actually designed to start going up, not continuing a timeline. And so when our skin starts to sag and we keep it on the timeline, we age. But when we hit this place and we start to move up, the skin is actually ascending. But because we've locked consciousness on a timeline that's going this way, we have the experience of our skin sagging. But when we connect our consciousness and allow it to go this way, our skin is actually releasing because we're moving into the light body. It's crazy, right? So these are the kind of things that you start to see. And I could go on and on with all the different ones I've tapped into, but that one I thought was fun.
That's so good, because we're all like, well, okay, if the skin is raising, what do we do then? What do we do? What do we do to go into that quantum body then? It starts with being aware when we're looking in a mirror, being aware of these programs, getting out of the looping cycles of the programs. So what did you do then when you were looking in the mirror? You were aware of it.
Mhm.
You said,
Yes.
no,
So
how did you?
I I asked to show me what it is. And so as I did, my skin started to get translucent. And I started like unwinding my consciousness from seeing it as something of form. And then of course, then I was able to kind of hold it. But now what's interesting is that every time I look at my skin, that's what I see. And every time I try to go back to seeing what it was before, it's really hard to do. And so I'm not trying anymore. I'm just like, let it be what it's going to be, because it's reprogramming us, right? And it's not necessarily even reprogramming us. That's what happens when we raise our frequency of our body. Our consciousness starts to match that frequency, and it literally creates a new body and a new reality of what the body is. And all we're doing is unlocking what we thought it was, and we're tapping into what it really is. And it kind of blows your mind.
Okay, so tell us more about the products that you've developed, the supporting products that you've developed. This is a great time for that.
Yeah.
And how we use them, and what is the protocol for really paying attention to our consciousness as we're doing this, so that we are breaking out of that carbon body into our light body, into the
Right.
quantum body.
Right. So, of course, we're all going to be on kind of different levels of where we are spiritually. But the thing is that it's not actually hard. The biggest thing is awareness of knowing, am I processing through my programming, or am I attuning my consciousness to the intelligence? And how do we do that? Well, we tap into our intuitive, what I call our intuitive powers. So we can go, oh, this is what it is. But then we're like, but is it? And then as soon as we do that, we open up this place for the frequency to be released, where we get to go explore intuitively what that is. So with the supplement, the particle accelerator, it truly is doing just that. It's raising the frequency of your body, and over time it raises the frequency of your consciousness. A lot of times our body will actually raise in frequency before our consciousness even knows what's happening, because our consciousness is so programmed to identify in our programming that when our body starts to raise out of that, our consciousness is still having the experience down here. And then all of a sudden it will start to raise without us even knowing it. And then boom, we'll like hit it and we're like, whoa, what just happened? Like I'm in this whole nother space where everything changed, but nothing changed because your consciousness changed. And that's how all of these are kind of created to be developed. And of course, the more you're aware of subtle energies, the more you'll go along for the ride, but you don't necessarily have to in order for it to work. So that's one thing. And then the other product that I have in there is there's actually an ormis spray that is an aura spray that you spray around your body and allow the ormis to absorb into your skin, so that your body is absorbing a multidimensional element, so that the cells and your body remind themselves, remember the remembering, that they too are multidimensional. And we could talk a little bit about ormus if you want to, but it is
I
definitely
Yes, I was going to ask you about ormis, because many of us know what that is, but still maybe unsure about what it is. And it's almost like, I love how you said it's multidimensional. What is it?
So ORMUS stands for orbited rearranged unidentified substance. Another word for it is ORME, which is orbited rearranged monoatomic element. It's an element that's in a monoatomic state, that's in a spin state. So most elements you can look under a microscope and you can see, oh, that's going to be the element of gold or copper. Well, an ORMUS element, because it's spinning, you'll see it, but then it disappears and then it comes back. And that's because it's spinning. And when it's spinning, it goes multi-dimensional. So some of the benefits of Ormus elements are it's bringing in life force energy, it's extending telomere length, it's activating higher consciousness, And, when used in specific ways, and of course, the ormis that we have is always coated with the evolution technology, but it's releasing small amounts of DMT from the pineal gland to open up the third eye so that you can consciously experience your multidimensional body. That's a mouthful.
Wow, that's beautiful. Okay. And so this is products that you've created and make available. It's wonderful. I just want to say, everyone watching and listening, you can scroll down on this webpage and see this and see what's offered. Thank you for sharing on bioperformance ornaments. And so then also, there's other things included in this offering, a 1 hour DMT activation. That's exciting. So tell us more about this.
Right. So this activation, what my focus is going to be is activating that frequency of 963 through the pineal gland and kind of creating a journey of bringing your consciousness into that frequency and being able to hold it. It's funny. I had this interview with this guy yesterday and he kept like going like this. Oh, I'm going to get up here. And I was like, that's exactly what it feels like when you're kind of moved past the illusion and you pop up on top of, and you're holding your consciousness in that frequency of 963. It's very, very clean. And it's, yes, it's a little blissful, but it's not blissful in a chemical way. It's just the essence of that. So what I want to do in this hour is create a container and walking people through each frequency pattern until they pop up into that 963, and then hold reflection on how to actually keep your consciousness there and then activate the quantum body so that they can go and actually perform from that state.
I love that. And you have been living that in your life as well. And so that's how you are aware of how this operates and functions. It really is incredible. I know that holding the consciousness, it really is just your awareness, right? So you can tap into it. You can say so if we are aware and saying, okay, I feel feelings are coming up within me, or I can recognize that this is programming within me, that's like a trigger point for you to drop into higher consciousness. So at that point, what do you do? Do you have the tools that you use, or do you just stop and pause?
Well, I think that's the great thing about using the technology is that the technology is always working. And what the technology is doing is it's on a cellular level or a molecular level, it's allowing the cell to stop observing the environment that's holding conscious and unconscious thought to actually observing through not observing, but expressing the experience. I can't even talk right now. The expression of source. So if you think about observation is creating timelines that hold programming that gives us the experience of the matrix, right? Our body is part of the matrix when we're in observation of it. But our cells are actually created to be in an expression of a frequency, which is 963, which is also measured at source. And it's transcribed in our DNA. So as we're doing this, we're beginning to activate those other 10 strands of DNA that hold an intelligence. And as we start to activate them, we start to move our consciousness into the multidimensional body and recognize that, oh, this is just as real as what I thought this was. But because we're able to hold consciousness there, it creates a reality. And it's funny when we're thinking about consciousness. Really what consciousness is awareness. And it's awareness of where we're holding our thought. And that thought is creating a reality. But truly, consciousness is just a tool. It's the tool that brings us back into our innate being, which is the intelligence of source. And that intelligence is our divine operating system. Like we are a divine technology, and that technology doesn't need consciousness to exist because it's the most intelligent form of intelligence there is. Consciousness is the part of us that knows that that's true and that we have somewhere to go until we just become that intelligence. Our consciousness is the tool that brings us back into our innate being.
Our awareness, our consciousness. Okay. Then this work that you're doing, it goes very deep, and you've got other programs that are supportive in this way. So the tools that you've got, the supplement, the frequency supplement, the ormis spritz, that's wonderful. And the activation is good. But then you've also got a nice 12-week bioperformance expedition. And this is really the experiential that people get to go into with you and the support from you and your staff. Tell us what goes on here, because we're excited for this. Wow. So after 12 weeks, we will feel and be in a whole different place, almost ascended in a way, not almost, but living in that frequency, able to hold that frequency, able to catch ourselves when we're not in that frequency so that we can flow more. Tell us more.
Yeah, so the 12-week and it is an expedition because we will, on some level, everybody will be at their own fitness level, but I will be teaching you how to go through cell ascension in that process of moving from oxygen to hydrogen when the lactate begins to release. Then you're also going to be learning, there's 12 breath movements that are connected to your original timeline. So we actually go into the exact time of birth and what timeline was created, what the frequency pattern is, and you're going to go through a 12-step process of dissolving that and bringing it back into 0 point, and then connecting it into that divine operating system. So you're actually unwinding all of the timelines that have been created through through the program's body, and basically shifting consciousness up and uploading it into the quantum body, and where there's actually 12 processes that you'll go through, which is really powerful and amazing. And then in all of that, you'll be working towards an actual expedition. So on the eclipse in the end of September, we are going to be doing a personal expedition to where you will choose some sort of physical activity that you want to do. Everyone will be doing it on the same day at the same time. And there is a specific, it's called the Odyssey Ormis, that you'll be taking as you journey to activate the frequency of 963 and do the expedition through the quantum body in connection with everybody all over the world. So it's going to be, I don't even know. I'm just so excited for it. So whether that's walking around the block, if that's the physical activity that you can do, or hiking a 14er, which is what I plan to do, there's no right or wrong. It's just having the experience with everybody else that's having the experience at the same time.
That is amazing. And there's something about the group energy there. Again, we're talking multidimensional, and we're actually freeing ourselves from timelines. And there's more questions there around the 12 movements or the 12 breath experiences as well. But what does this do when everyone in the group is moving in that way? What's happening there? It's almost like the intention of our holographic reality, our bubbles, are uniting with others. And that somehow feels really powerful. But my mind doesn't know the first thing about that, except that I do know there's something about the group energy. Can you explain more about why you're doing that and why? I mean, what's it? Does it raise our, what does it
You
do?
know, I have to be super honest. I don't really know. This is just the direction that all of this has come, and I always listen.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's funny because when I go to kind of tap into it and see it, I literally see all these quantum bodies like walking in this multidimensional space and being able to telepathically connect into the highest frequency of that experience to where we're not even really doing what we're doing. It's more about the frequency of what's happening in the body as we're doing it. It's kind of like the biggest like blast off of
Yes.
all of the 12 weeks of training. That's the ultimate ascension is during that time period.
Oh, that is so cool. And then as we move the physical body and you're talking about the mitochondria and all of it, now it starts to click in and make sense.
Yeah.
So no expectation, just do this and show up. And again, we're moving energy. Maybe it's going to be helping us release more of these timelines, right? Getting out and moving. It's so wonderful. I think it's very cool. And it's really good for the planet too. And then during an eclipse, wow, what a great recharge and a reset. Absolutely. Wow.
Exactly. You know what I saw when you were talking? I just had this just clicked for me is when I did the DMT Ascension journey last year, I went and traveled all over and we activated these portals. And it was a big part of it was I was bringing also ascending my friend that passed away, Rob's ashes through the ormis. Every portal I went to, I ascended his ashes. And when you were saying that, what Vale brought me when he passed away was the equation for cell ascension. And what I saw was that this is like the journey of cell ascension. So we're practicing and we're setting our body up. And then when we hit the expedition, we're actually going through the process of the cell ascension during the eclipse in this process together. But it's just funny how I'm like, oh my gosh, these are similar, but that one was ascending the carbon. This is actually ascending the cells, the physical. I don't know if that makes sense, but it kind of makes sense to me.
Yes, all right. It's an ascension expedition, actually. Wow, very, very cool. Thank you for this. So, folks watching and listening, scroll down and learn more about this. It just seems really amazing. Jules programs are very popular and esoteric in the sense that you will feel into it. And when you go into it, you'll know, your body will know from the wisdom within it what to do. That really is what's happening here. We've got the wisdom within us, and you are creating products, Jules, that support this entire process. So let's see. There was one question when you were mentioning the 12 DME breath work processes to diminish the timelines created from our first breath at birth. That sounds fascinating. What do you know about this first breath at birth and the timelines that it creates?
Yeah, so this was something that was coming through. um, Gosh, I can't even remember. I was actually in, I think it was right around Christmas time I started to see it. And of course, I always, anytime I get the little download, I capture it and I'll sit in it. And so what I started to see was how the star, like the constellations on wherever it is that we were born under, is the first time stamp of when we were born. And then we're like given that timestamp. And like even on our birth certificate, they say what time you were born. And so it creates this whole timeline. And so I started tracing it and I was like, okay, well, what is the easiest way to bring that into the quantum? And what I said, it literally created like this interstellar journey, if you will, which is kind of a little bit of what we'll be doing during the expedition process. Is we'll be unwinding the constellations to move into a 0 point, but we'll be doing it through the cells. So we'll be doing it from that first breath and then going all the way around back to the moment that you were born. And then that moment is when you'll do the expedition. Or there's a lot more that's to it. It's like, it's one of these things where it's like, it's important to know all of it. Yeah, it's kind of fun, but most important I find is have the experience and then learn what you experienced, because then you're remembering, because you already experienced what it is that you're learning. And I'm finding that that's kind of the best way to go through this ascension process, is to not try to learn it and then do it, but do it and then learn it.
Yes, I love that. That makes so much sense. And so when we say just be in a frequency, the experience of being in that frequency becomes our truth because we're able to witness. And we all know that hindsight is 2020. So when we go through that experience, it does become our truth, and it's validation, it's confirmation. So it's beautiful. And you've got lots of students and participants in your programs that do wondrous things. So that should speak enough to itself. So that's wonderful. Do we want to do a little mini frequency attunement right now? I know it can go very in depth, but can we just get a little feel of a frequency? Show us.
What do I want to, you know what? I'm just going to let it come through. We'll just see what happens. So yeah, let's just, if everyone wants to place their hands on their heart, they're welcome to. We'll just start by attuning. So we're just going to breathe in a white blue light, allowing it to trace along your brain and moving down through your spine and out through the mouth as we attune the spinal fluid to the frequency of source, or 963. And then in the next breath, allowing it to trace along the brain, moving down through the spine and filling your heart space, allowing the light to enter your bloodstream, attuning your blood, ascending your blood to the frequency of 963. And then in the next breath, allowing it to trace along the brain, moving down through the spine. And as it moves up, you're going to see the light move into the center of your physical brain, into the pineal gland. And you're just going to see or sense tiny little white blue light in the center of your brain. And just bringing all of your consciousness, your awareness, and your thoughts into that light. And then you're going to get that light, and with your consciousness, you're going to push the light out so it encompasses your entire mind. And as it pushes out, it's filling and expressing through every cell of your body. And as this light is expressed through every cell of your body, it begins to connect into all of the electrons and the biophotons of your body. As they begin to click together, creating a system, that divine technology. You can see it just like the inside of a computer. See those white blue lights running, each one holding an intelligence. You are the most advanced technology there is. And as this frequency is running your divine technology, we're just going to ask for the first process of cell ascension the conversion of from oxygen to hydrogen. So through the experience of your quantum body, just allowing the frequency pattern to move from oxygen to hydrogen. And as the activation process is released through your body, it begins to structure the water, allowing the molecules to shift from H2O to H3O2. Structured water, water at a high spin state. And through this, the frequency of DMT is released through your pineal gland. And this frequency enters that divine technology, upgrading your experience of your body, bringing your body into the experience of the other 10 DNA strands. And if there's something that you're struggling with or something that you're working on, just holding your intention and allowing whatever it is you're working on to upload into your divine technology. Just releasing it, letting it go, allowing the technology to begin to reprogram it to match the frequency of source. And then if there's something in your life, whether it's a project you're working on, if you're wanting to lose weight, you're wanting to upgrade your performance level in any way, just uploading that into your software system. Just allowing that quantum body, your divine technology, to take that on, releasing it from your mind and allowing the technology to take over. Just like a computer system, you're just upgrading your software system. And then just like you did in the beginning, when you pushed your consciousness into that white blue light, allow yourself to push your consciousness into your divine technology, your quantum body. Upload your consciousness into that software system. You're matching your consciousness to the frequency of source. And then just taking a moment to recognize the shift in how you're feeling. And just knowing that your consciousness has a place to go all the time, that your quantum technology, your divine technology is always running there for you to experience. And you can take in a deep breath, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you. That was beautiful. That frequency, I want to say quantum consciousness. And we should have started with that because that is the experience that we were talking about. And so enough said, because when we learn to do this, I get this now. When we learn to hold that frequency, attune to that frequency. That's how we become quantum in the human body. And now I get the answer to the question that I asked you, why are you moving the body with a group? Because we're making that transformation within the body at that frequency, and to be connected with the others. That's so beautiful. I get that. I get that now. Okay. Good work. We are transmuting, transforming our bodies, and you're doing incredible work, Jules. Thank you for this experience. Thank you for this offering. Thank you for helping us create the best timelines in our life. Absolutely remove timelines, liberate ourselves from timelines, and become the divine operating system within us. It's beautiful. Thank you. Do you want to add anything else about this beautiful offering, or ways that people can work with it?
It's one of those things where when you step into the field and you start doing it, and that's really what my passion is. It's great talking about it and it's interesting, but let's do it. Like, let's ascend the body. And I literally was given an equation of how to do it. And I want to share it. And really the shout out is for those that are ready to take action and experience it and do it and see what's possible. And, and for some, it may not be of interest, but if it lights you up, like, come play. Let's do it.
Absolutely. If it lights you up, come play. We want to light everybody up because you are beacons of light for the planet. Jules, you are doing incredible work. I'm going to say that one more time. It really is remarkable. This is really the new earth medicine, if we even want to call it medicine. New earth, new earth living. It's new earth frequency. And when we talk about new earth being a frequency, this is the frequency. We can't take any of our baggage with it, or any of our old programming with it. So happy liberation from our programming, people. Thank you. I mean, and so there's a lot of work to do here, but this frequency assists us. And so that's wonderful. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Any final thoughts?
Just thanks to everyone for hanging. If you're still with us and you've gone this far, I just want to recognize you and your mastery, because it is a level of mastery to connect into these higher frequencies and to commit to them all the way through. So I see you, and I'm sending you all so much love, and thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you for listening. And again, you'll feel this in your heart if it resonates with you. We are excited to have you join Jules in this program. Thank you, Jules, and thank you, everyone. We love you. Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. This has been a presentation of New Earth One Network, your home for New Earth living. Access information, education, and videos on living from the heart in unity consciousness. Visit newearth1.com.